Hello, and welcome to the Yesteryear podcast. We are going to do something special for Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Since a couple weeks ago, we did a release of one of the Patreon episodes that we did. Everybody seemed to really enjoy that. So we want to do that again for Easter as an Easter gift for everybody. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get that playing here. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by, and we'll be back next week. Hello, and welcome back to the Yesteryear podcast, the nostalgia version. I'm James, and I'm once again joined by my awesome co-host, Tabby.
Hello.
Tabby, how are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's Christmas season. I thought we should do, put out something to the Patreon that's season relevant,
Christmas
I guess you'd
special,
say.
you know?
Yeah, sure. For that reason, we are reviewing Home Alone. So, Tabby, can you remember the first time you saw Home Alone, or is it all just a blurred memory?
It's all just a blur. I mean, I do remember seeing it in kind of like parts.
Yeah.
But never really a full movie thing. I kind of just remember watching it with you guys.
So you just pretty much did that just recently then? Just watched it for the all the way?
Yes, I did.
That's cool. That's cool. I remember that when this first came out, I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I thought the kid's behavior was crazy bad, especially for an 8-year-old. And I didn't think it was believable that the guys could sustain such injuries without being dead.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh. There were shows that were on TV around this time as well, like Roseanne, where the kids acting like jerks and being smart mouths, and I just didn't think it was funny or cute either. I just was like, this isn't believable as because like I was like, how are these kids not beat? Because if I had tried some of that, like if I call my mom dummy,
I think that's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, she'd have been like, okay, let me go tell your father.
Oh.
Never mind. I said,
wait, I'm joking.
I said, mummy. But anyway, as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate Home Alone for what it is and what it's supposed to be. And now it's one of my favorite Christmas films.
Yeah, it is a really good movie. I want to say that Home Alone 1 and 2 will always have a place in my heart.
Yeah?
And I never liked the other movies. Haven't watched them, but I feel like the 1 and 2 is just the original.
Right.
Like, I think the other movies was just a copy off the whole...
Right, just making money off
money off of it. And even
name.
if it's not, like, if it has its own... I mean, that's cool and all, but, like, still, Home Alone 1 and 2 would always be really good.
I don't even think the other ones are necessarily at Christmas. I don't know. I've never really watched them either. I saw parts of one of them, and I was like, eh. And then there was the fourth one, I think, and I like one time something was on TV, and I was like, what is this? And it was like, oh, Home Alone 4. I was like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm going to skip the channel.
Skip. Yeah, I called my cable. Can you please remove this channel from my service?
I'm not paying for this.
I don't want this on. It's free, sir. No.
I don't care.
Give me a refund.
Give me money. I want you to pay me money to take this off.
Yeah. So, what was your initial impression of what the movie was going to be like?
Like, when I first...
Like you're by the preview, the artwork, the DVD,
well, of course it'd be like at Christmas. You see it snowing, it looks in a cold setting, mostly snow though.
Yeah.
You can tell it's gonna be during Christmas. Or just in a cold place.
Gotcha.
Obviously with the box art, you can see that's definitely a screaming child with 2 people in the background. It's never a good sign. I feel like I probably would have been like, ooh, this, maybe like running from 2 guys. I mean, like, if it's a child and 2 people in the background, it's probably gonna look suspicious.
Right. So, were you excited about watching it?
Well, when I heard you 2 talk about like, oh, this is such a good movie. I don't know, but I know that you guys like, I like this movie a lot. And whatever. And I was like, maybe I should see it. But, I didn't really watch anything on DVD or anything. So
Gotcha.
I think when I was younger, I kind of just waited for it to come on, but I was really distracted easily, video games and such. But I would, nowadays, it's like, you want to go watch Home Alone? I'm like, yes.
Nice. So, let's talk about the trailer. I usually always ask, did you watch the trailer? Which we did. We actually watched it before we started recording. And that is pretty crazy that there's so many scenes in the trailer that aren't actually in the movie.
It's not, yeah. I mean, and I think that they left out a lot of the good stuff, too. Like, you don't see you see most of it, but I still remember stuff that I really liked.
Yeah.
Wasn't in there. Like, I don't think they showed anything about the church.
No.
Like, I never, even though that kind of happened.
Right.
They never show anything about. I mean, they show most of the home invasion, but they never showed them like really, really in the house.
No, but they. I mean, like the whole thing with the manager being there asking the questions instead of the cashier.
That would make sense though. I mean, like, I don't get why they removed that. Because, like, if the cashier thinks something up, like, if a child comes through, like, because, you know, I work at Kroger. If a child comes through my line, it's, like, an 8-year-old, I'm probably going to be a little suspicious. I mean, I guess your first thought would be, like, I should go tell my manager. But, like, if he's, like, didn't he say he was 8? He was, like, I'm 8 years old.
But he did. He said the same exact lines that he said when he just talks to her in the movie.
Exactly. So, like,
why would the manager be there? I just don't get it.
And it's like, he sounds super serious, too. He's like, where are your parents? Where are this, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. There was the scene with John Candy saying, I think this is going to be the best Christmas ever. There were some scenes with Marv and Harry that didn't happen in the movie. There was just stuff I was like, wow, there's probably a good half of this preview that's not even in the movie.
I think that they did the trailer, and then, like, when they, like, drew in the movie, maybe, like, at the ending, they're like, we should cut some of this stuff out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, maybe time reasons, that could be a thing, or maybe they just didn't think it was necessary. Like, last-minute decisions and stuff.
Gotcha. What do you give the moves for the trailer, like, out of 5?
Like a 3, because they left some stuff out. But it's also kind of like, it's good to see what could have happened in the movie too, as well. Some stuff that we wouldn't have seen.
I'm gonna say a 2.5 because of that reason. Because there was stuff that was not. Yeah, because like, what the heck?
At least we get to see some behind the scenes.
Right, but you give me a trailer and there's stuff not even in the movie. It's what if I wanted to see that part?
I wanted to see that part. You wanted to see the manager scene?
Yes.
It's my favorite part.
That's my favorite part. I love that guy. I don't even know his name.
The guy, never. He just was cut out the movie. You're fired.
You know, they still get paid.
I mean,
because they still filmed and everything like that.
They did film. They had to get paid for that, I guess.
Yeah. So, Home Alone was released November 16th, 1990. It's a family comedy movie. Yeah, I know. It's been that long. It's directed by Chris Columbus and written by John Hughes. And John Hughes did a lot of, there's a lot of John Hughes films. Have you ever heard of 16 Candles?
No.
Or The Breakfast Club?
No.
Or Weird Science?
No.
You know Weird Science?
No.
Pots and pans.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, that's from the movie.
I don't know the movie, though.
That's from the movie.
Pots and pans. Yeah, I know that song. I just don't know the movie.
Bits and pieces and bits and pieces. It's my imagination. It stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, Catherine O'Hara, and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
The story follows an 8-year-old troublemaker that is left at home when his family goes to France during Christmas vacation. He also has to fight off 2 burglars that are trying to rob his house.
That's
a hard word to say.
That's how you say it in French.
Booglers. How do you say burglars in French? Booglers.
That's correct at all.
Yeah, right, there's a French person like, we don't say that.
This is misinformation.
And for anybody that listens from France, I'm sorry. That was
disliked.
I'm sorry if I listened to a podcast from France that I would hear it and it would be like they'd have their American version of what it sounds like, and they would say, "Yeah, this is burglars," you know. So, the film had a budget of $18 million. It's
a lot of money.
But it grossed over $476 million worldwide.
Ooh.
So, I would consider that a hit.
Yeah, it really did.
It basically made back its entire budget its opening weekend. Like, it made 17 and some change. It's for just opening weekend. The film did have mixed reviews, some saying it was way too outlandish, and others saying that it never gets old watching the wet bandits get beat up on.
Right.
So, that being said, the film has become a Christmas classic and has spawned several sequels. One of which is good, and the rest which I have no time for.
I'm not going to watch them. It's just, you know Home Alone 1 and 2? Yeah, the only Home Alone movies? What about the others? No, the only 1 and 2.
Right. We don't acknowledge.
Yeah.
Kevin's the only one that we know. And other than that, Pshaw.
Right. I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
No.
Home with people.
Home by myself.
Home. At an apartment. Somewhere.
In the alleyway. Oh no.
Nice. All right. So, do you want to go ahead and jump into it?
Sure.
All right. So, I like how the movie starts with the title having the little house with the while the credits roll. We open on a really nice house and a police officer attempting to get attention of someone. Like everyone's running around crazy, and he's just like, "Excuse me,
do you
excuse
live
me."
here?
No, right, and no. You're right. What is he's like?
Do your parents live here? Yes.
Hey,
it's like no.
Are your parents home? Yes. Are they here?
No.
No.
Must be a fancy orphanage.
We see a lady talking on the phone, and then a kid named Kevin comes in complaining that Uncle Frank won't let him watch a movie. The mother says that if Uncle Frank says it's bad, then it must be really bad.
Right.
Then they have discussion about other stuff, and he's a bit rude in how he responds to his parents.
Right. She's like on the phone, and he just jumps on the bed, and she's like, "Can you get out, please?" And he's just like, "Why don't you get off the phone and make me?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's exactly.
I would never say that.
Right.
I was like, yeah, and I get grounded.
Yeah. His dad comes in and gets on him because mom's like, "Oh, he's messing with the glue gun again." And he smarts back to him as well. He's like, "Oh, I can't use the fish hooks with the fish cuts on them, blah, blah, blah." It's like...
My new fish hooks, bro.
Right. Right. Like I said, I never really was a fan of how the kid talked to adults. But I know that it's part of the movie, and it's about him being a little smart mouth kid and then being a better kid at the end. So.
Better kid at the end. Well, at least a little bit better. Right. Because, of course, the second movie.
Right. He's not as smart, but yeah, we'll talk about that another time. So they kick him out of the room and tell him to pack his suitcase.
And he gets all shocked. He's like, "But I don't know how to pack my suitcase."
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Well, too bad."
Yeah, the policeman continues to ask for an adult while Kevin asks people to help him pack his suitcase, and everyone basically just calls him useless and talks down to him. So it's no wonder why the kid has a bad attitude. I mean, if I lived in a house where everybody treated me like dirt.
Treat them back, right.
Yeah. We see a couple boys talking about France and the kid's pet spider. Kevin comes in and asks Buzz, one of the kids, if he can sleep in his room, and he says no.
No.
Because he doesn't want to sleep with the pee pants kid.
He doesn't want to no.
Buzz says that he tells the story about the next door neighbor being the snow shovel slayer and the fact that he is hiding out in the neighborhood.
Right.
Which is really sad.
The guy doesn't like being rumored about.
He's just a nice old man. I mean, that's what it turns out. Of course, you don't know that, but still, he's...
No. He's like, why is he salting the sidewalk?
Yeah.
He's like, maybe he's just doing a nice thing. No.
Yeah. So...
You see that big bucket of salt? Yeah, that's where he hides bodies and they turn into mummies. I'm like, mummies? Wait a second, what?
Right. He's telling the story and it scares Kevin pretty bad. The pizza man shows up knocking the statue off the stand, which becomes a running joke.
It does.
The policeman is still trying to find an adult to talk to when the pizza man knocks on the door. An adult finally comes and Uncle Frank grabs the pizza. Like he's like, "Oh, hey." And he just grabs the pizza and he's like, pieces out.
Yeah, he's like, my brother will pay for it.
Right.
I'm like, dude, wait, hold on.
Cheap Uncle Frank.
Right.
Right. He just took the pizza, didn't even bother. No, we're not. No. The dad comes down and talks to the cop finally about the fact that they are going out of town and keeping the house safe. We see that they are all eating pizza, and Fuller is drinking a buttload of Pepsi, so he is planning on wetting the bed. Like, this kid's exciting about wetting the bed.
Even Kevin sees that, right, I think. He's all upset about it. He gets all upset face.
Yeah, he's, like, drinking and like, ha ha! Right. Kevin is looking for plain cheese pizza, but it looks to have all been eaten. Buzz gives him a hard time about it, saying that if he wants some, he'll have to wait for someone to barf some up.
And that's the thing, like, how does everyone eat pizza that fast? Like, it takes me, like, a couple of bites, you know? Like, I gotta take some breaks, too, as well. Like, cool down the pizza as well, because they just got there.
Right.
And I'm sure it's, like, by the time they actually got the pizza, it's only been, like, 4 minutes, which pizza does not cool down that fast, in my opinion.
Well, it was out in the snow.
Well, so. Yeah, true. But, like, also, there's, like, heated cars, but I guess back then, maybe not. But, I mean, it's inside of a car that might be heated because the
back
guy,
then, it was in the 90s. We had heat.
I mean, like, actual pizza cart, you know, now some cars have them, like the dry car.
I get what you're saying. That it had the heating thing. Yeah, like Domino's.
If a couple of people, because it said that Buzz, we know he ate it, and maybe one other kid, but, like, a whole cheese pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we never really saw who else ate it.
Right.
But if you order from one person, they always obviously did it despite Kevin.
Right, and then there was like what was it? 12 pizzas total, I think, is how much they had.
Right.
12 or 14 pizzas. You're telling me that everybody grabbed right for the one cheese that they had.
One cheese pizza. Why would you get one singular cheese pizza?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking too.
And it's like, I guess because the way he acted when he just went to attack Buzz and stuff. But it's like, how are you just gonna get mad at him exactly? Like, he does have a point. Like, if I order cheese pizza for if I'm like, hey, can I have a cheese pizza from, because I want cheese?
Right.
And everyone takes a slice, then I'm not gonna have anything to eat.
Right, you have nothing, whereas other people will eat other stuff.
Exactly,
yes.
Like everyone else does, lots of pizza and stuff.
Yep, that makes sense. So, Buzz starts acting like he's going to upchuck, so Kevin charges him, knocking him into a bunch of glasses of milk spilled everywhere because the mom has said, hey, make sure you drink all the milk.
Right.
Which, milk and pizza? Yuck. But whatever.
I mean, if you want to throw that back up later, whatever. And sodas, but I mean, pizza and soda, sure, but like, some of these things that people eat, I mean, gosh.
Yeah, Becky.
You obviously can tell that they also had pizza because I think the next day they were moving, they're leaving to go on vacation, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they're having just pizza, not making a full dinner or anything.
Right.
Because there might be leftovers. And, leaving that while going on vacation. So, obviously, if there's pizza... I mean, not saying pizza won't be leftovers.
Yeah.
But if they eat that whole slice of cheese pizza, then,
Yeah. And it keeps it clean. It's not making a mess. So, the dad comes over and cleans up. And one of the tickets gets thrown away as well at that point in time. Because he, bunches everything up. Because he's like, oh, the passports. And he gets them out of the way. But then he also, scoops up and throws away one of the tickets. So, I guess that's why they didn't realize there was an extra ticket there or whatever.
Yeah, so the plot point,
Yeah, so everyone is pissed-faced at Kevin, blaming him for what happened.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
So he gets made to go upstairs. He's like, good night, Kevin.
Say good night, Kevin. Good night, Kevin. Yeah. That made me laugh a little bit, even though it was kind of rude. It was just like, I don't remember that. It's like, dang, all right.
The mother finally pays the pizza man and talks to the cop, telling him about going to Paris, leaving the next day.
Making him wait that long as well.
I know. The pizza man.
You can't just eat the pizza and then pay him.
Right. I like that. He's like, I'm staying here. Where's my money?
You can't just leave and not get paid.
No.
So obviously you had to wait and hear all this commotion going on with this police officer with him.
Right. They're both just standing there dumb face.
Right.
So the mom takes Kevin upstairs and makes him go to the third floor to sleep. Kevin says how he doesn't want any family and how he wishes that they were all gone.
And he goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's all, no.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Go upstairs.
So, again, I don't like the way that he talks to his mom, calls her dummy and jerk, and it's just a bit too much, but I get it. If he was a nice little kid, you wouldn't be as whatever with him. He wouldn't be...
He probably would have gone, he probably wouldn't.
Right, then they just go to France, and there's no... then their house gets robbed, and there's nothing that happens.
Right, you go home. Where's all my Christmas ornaments?
So, that night, there's a windstorm and the power gets knocked out.
Because a tree branch falls onto it.
Yep. They wake up late the next morning due to the alarm being knocked out and having to rush around and get ready to go. And again, that's another cutscene because the girl's sitting there saying, oh, you were going to be late. What are you people doing? That never happened in the movie.
Never happened.
I like that the vans that came to get them knocked over the little statue.
Again, yeah, knocked. Is no one gonna notice the misplacement of that?
Right.
They're gonna go outside and be like, "Why is my statue move a little bit? What's this big dent in it? Why? Dude, this is a car running into my statue. It's not that strong."
All the time. Meanwhile, a kid from next door named Mitch Murphy comes and gets counted as Kevin when Heather takes a head count.
I like that kid. What are you doing? Where are y'all going? And he's like, beat it, kid.
Yeah.
The next scene, he comes back and he's sitting in the guy's lap in the car.
Yeah, and Mitch is just in the van looking through their stuff. He's pulling out toys and stuff like that. I think that's the kid. Have you ever seen Overboard?
No.
I think he's the youngest brother of an Overboard. I'm gonna have to look that up. Not right now, but because I think that's who that is. So the guy comes and tells the mom that the power is back, but that the phone lines are going to be out for a while.
They're all messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So the entire family, she's like, I don't care, we're leaving.
Right. I'm why would I care about that?
So the entire family just makes it to the gate in time to board the plane. Meanwhile, Kevin wakes up at home alone,
Right.
as the plane is taking off.
Now, here's the thing. How does he not hear all this commotion going downstairs?
He's on the 3rd floor. It's
I
quiet.
guess, but it's like, if they're screaming, like, we missed the flight, and everyone's screaming, running around upstairs, up and down the stairs, slamming everything. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that I'm definitely a heavy sleeper or a light sleeper either.
Yeah.
But if I'm hearing a bunch of people screaming downstairs, I'll probably be like, yo, someone getting murdered downstairs or something? Like, and, there's people passing by his door as well.
No.
Maybe because he is on the floor, maybe that's just it. Because obviously, I probably would have woken up and been like, "Oh, we're going now."
Yeah. Well, again, it's Home Alone, not in France, so.
Right. Home in France.
Yeah. So he has to do it for the movie. He looks around the house and finds that no one is there. The parents are flying first class as the kids are flying coach. So I guess that's why they didn't realize that Kevin isn't there.
Right.
And she's all, I feel really bad being, and she's like, and he's all, meh, they'll be all right back there. So Kevin continues to look around the house and it's empty. He goes into the basement and gets spooked by the furnace seeming to come alive.
It's all my imagination. And just starts like turning on and stuff.
Yeah. He runs out and sees that the cars are still in the garage. So he thinks that his wish came true, that he wished his family away. So he goes pretty crazy doing all the things that a kid would do without supervision.
Right, that's right.
Like immediately he's running around the house, jumping on beds, eating a whole bunch of snack food and such. So he goes through Buzz's stuff and takes firecrackers. He then plays with his pellet gun, shooting figurines down the laundry chute.
I also want to say that, I like when he takes the magazine out and he's like, a bunch of people naked with no clothes on. Sickening. Yeah. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, so he watches the movie that Uncle Frank told him that he wasn't allowed to watch.
Angels with Filthy Souls.
Yes. While eating a giant bowl of ice cream and junk. And he's like, I'm eating junk food and watching rubbish.
Yeah. You better come out and stop me.
Yeah. He does actually seem to get spooked by the movie, so perhaps it was
he screams
too
for his
much
mom,
for him. Yeah. Later on the plane, Kevin's mom still has a feeling that something was forgotten. They remember that they didn't close the garage, but she says that's not it. She then realized that it was Kevin that was forgotten.
I don't know how she realized that, though.
All I can think is that she just never really saw him.
Yeah, like...
that morning she didn't see him, and he seems like he'd be obnoxious to the point where you'd have to keep a thumb on him.
The suitcase, right? Did he pack his suitcase the other day, or did he never do that?
Right.
So, like, maybe someone like, can someone help me?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think there shows a scene where they're actually running into the airplane, a bunch of the kids are.
Yeah.
So don't you think Kevin would also be doing that?
You would think, and especially since he's the youngest, you would think that as a parent you would be...
Yeah. Telling your kid, making sure, like, if I got on a plane with you two, you'd be like, where are you going to sit?
One last time, I would be like, yeah, okay, everybody's on here, everybody's good. Yeah, my youngest, I'm going to check and make sure that they're there. I'm not going to wait until I go sit down and drink champagne.
Right.
Did you like when Frank was like, put this in your purse, because it was real crystal?
Put this in your purse. Yes, fill it.
Yeah. So... back at home the next day, Kevin is sledding down the stairs out into the snow, which...
I would never do that.
No.
I know what happens when you do that. You fall and just fall on your face and you walk up the stairs all sad.
Yeah. The mom is being consoled by everyone for forgetting Kevin on the plane, but the phones are still out, so there's nothing they can do.
Uncle Frank's like,
yeah.
And if it makes you feel any better... I left my reading glasses and I would just turn slowly to look at him like...
Everybody's sick face.
Nothing had to do with my son.
Thanks, Uncle Frank.
Thanks, that's exactly what I need right now.
Yeah. We find that the cop wasn't really a cop, but that he is a thief that has been planning on robbing the houses on the street, including Kevin's house. That's, what do they call it, the silver tuna? That's the silver tuna.
That's the silver something. It's the silver thing.
I think he says tuna.
I think
that's what he refers it to, or the marlin, silver tuna.
Yeah.
Kevin fell asleep watching TV when the thieves arrived to break in. He hears and sees them sneaking around and goes and turns on the lights. When he does this, they split, thinking that there's someone still there.
Right.
And Kevin does what anyone would do, which is hide under the bed.
Not call the police or anything.
Well, the phones are out.
But does he know that, though?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't know that because he never went outside. He never went outside to hear that. So, I mean, he obviously didn't, unless he tried and we just never knew. But like, I mean, if I'm seeing people walk outside, I would be like, yeah, go lock up the doors, go do this.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially for me, if I see people walking outside my house, the first instinct is like, I gotta go call somebody. Somebody's outside the house.
I would think so. But that would be a horrible way to find out that your phones are out when you go to call somebody.
Not dialing, or just dead.
Yeah.
Oop.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Kate, which is the mom's name, and family arrive in France and kick this lady off the phone in order to start calling people that live around the house.
Hello? She'll call you back.
Yeah.
She's like, this guy does not understand what you're saying.
He's just in there talking still, and she's like, oh, wait, hello? She'll call you back.
Hangs up.
I like how they just kicked her off.
Right.
Kevin's back home, and he says he's the man of the house and that he has to protect it. He goes outside and starts screaming that he isn't afraid anymore, but when the old man from next door shows up, he flips out and runs back inside.
Screaming inside, starts running up inside and down.
Screams in his face. Kate calls the police in order to get someone to go over to the house to check on Kevin, but she gets the runaround pretty bad by them. It's just like, they're like,
I need someone to go check on my son. Family crisis.
Yeah.
What's up, ma'am? I need someone to go check on my son. To the police department. Oh, hi again, ma'am.
Yeah.
Could someone go check on my son?
Right.
He's home alone.
Right. Has he ingested anything? No, he's just home alone.
No, he's just home alone. I want someone to go check on him. Which is like reasonable.
Yeah.
But if it's like my child is home alone, she should have been like, my child's home alone. We're in a different place. We need someone to go get him.
Yeah.
And like how the cop goes up into the door as well. And he's like, nobody's home. Tell her to recount her kids.
Yeah. So no one's having any luck getting hold of people back home on the phones. And so they do send the policeman over to check on Kevin, but then he's thinking it's just the bad guy again. Kevin does. Because the bad guy was dressed as a cop.
Yeah.
So Kevin doesn't want to go to the door to answer it. So the cop basically says there's no one home and to count their kids again, like you said. This is horrible policing.
Right? And I see the lights on inside the house as well.
But it doesn't matter. I, as the parent, am calling you saying, hey, look, my child is home alone. I need you to go get them.
And if
I'm giving you permission to go get them.
Right. If no one answers the door either, that means the child might have gotten out, which could count them as missing.
Could be horrible things going on.
Right.
Something needs to happen more than just, tell them to call their kids again. Or count their kids again. But that's the answer that they get. So.
Right.
So Peter the dad isn't having any luck getting a flight back home. The parents argue about what to do. Kate says she will stay at the airport on standby while the family goes to Rob's house to wait for the flight that's available in like 2 days or something like that.
2 days away, and she's like, I'm not going to wait 2 days. I want to go home now.
Yeah. So the next morning, Kevin is finishing up with a shower and puts aftershave on his face.
They put her on standby is what she said.
Yeah, she's put on standby. Yep. But the aftershave stings his face, making him scream like a freak.
Yeah. And I think that was like an iconic picture as well when he's just like standing there in the bathroom with his hands on his face screaming.
Yep. He decides to climb Buzz's shelving to get his money.
Terrible idea.
Yeah. But he tears the shelves down, allowing the tarantula to go free.
Right.
Which,
By the way, I like how he's like, yeah, he ate a bunch of mice guts. He'll be good for a couple of weeks. I'm like, first of all, a couple of weeks? That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's going to starve to death. Mice
guts. Gross.
Right.
So, Kevin sees the thief van parked across the street at the Murphy's house and feels that it is a little suspect. He's like, I thought they were out of town. While the thieves are there, Peter calls and leaves a message on the machine asking them to call them in France. So then they're like, oh, they are out of town. Right. At the McAllisters.
And they don't question, like, why all the lights turned on then?
No, I guess not.
I guess they're just, maybe they thought, like,
the automatic
lights. But, like, inside the house?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe, if you're going to be that superstitious, but whatever.
So, Kevin is at the store and is asking about a toothbrush that he wants to buy when the old man from next door comes in scaring him.
Because he had his injured hand, so maybe he's like, the guy got an injury, he's gonna kill me.
You know, but the guy didn't have to slam his hand down all hard on the counter either. I mean, and then staring, say something, say like, hello, say something normal. All he does is slam his hand and then stare at him creepily. I'm going to be backing out of there too.
Oh.
So Yeah, so this causes Kevin to run out of the store without paying.
Little boy, you gotta pay for that, little boy. You pay here.
Yeah. He gets chased by the store clerk, Jimmy, through the park.
Stop that boy.
A cop chases him as well, but he slides across the lake and escapes. We see that the one thief, Marv, clogged the sinks and turned on the water in order to flood the place.
He gets back in the car and he's all...
Yeah.
He's like, why are you laughing? Did you do that thing again? He's like, where's the wet band? And the guy is like, you're sick, Marv. I'm not sick. You're sick.
But yeah, he does it so they can be called the Wet Bandits. And he's like, that's our trademark. So Harry, the other thief, is yelling at him about it and almost runs over Kevin. Harry yells at Kevin about watching where he walks, and when he smiles, his tooth sparkles, and Kevin recognizes him from the other night when he was dressed up as the cop.
Yeah.
So they decide to follow him home.
This is like one of my favorite parts, because you're like, Kevin actually like turns around and they're like...
Right. Who drives like that?
Looking around. So I'm like, it's obvious that you're following me. So he's like, just move the steering wheel as well.
Yeah. So... Instead, he runs and hides in a nativity scene that's at the local church.
Oh, yeah, I like that too. He's like, why would he run? And I'm like, probably because there's a van following him.
Right. Down the middle of the road.
An empty road, no one's outside looking at him, and he's just running. I'm like, why would he run? Right?
Yeah. So they decide to get out of there, and Kevin says that he'll be ready for that night when they come back.
Right. So
they show up at his house to rob it again that night, but Kevin has set it up to look like there's a party going on using dummies and cardboard cutouts.
Right.
Which is creepy that he has those things, but...
Doesn't look suspicious at all that they're like walking in a diagonal line.
Yeah. Well, I guess from outside, across the street, it doesn't look like that.
So they're just like looking outside, you can hear all the music playing. Like, it's packed!
Yeah. So he fools the thieves and they leave and they say they will come back tomorrow. Meanwhile, in France, the family is all crowded into Uncle Rob's house, and Peter is still trying to get a hold of people back home. I like it. He's like trying to speak French. He's like, I'm trying to find my son.
Yeah. Mon la. And he's like, you want something? He's like, I'm trying to find my son. This poor guy on the other side of the phone just trying to like...
Quoi?
Right? Why are you yelling at me? I don't even know what you're saying.
So, one of the kids complains to Buzz about Kevin being home alone.
It's the girl. It's the girl in the trailer that we saw.
Yeah, but I don't know what her name
I don't know her name. They all have names.
It might be Heather. I don't know.
But she's like, don't you feel at all bad for Kevin?
No.
And he's like, no, he got what he deserved. I'm like, first of all, I mean, I agree with him a little, but for like an 8-year-old, and no one's going to expect anything out of him.
Right.
Especially. So, like, if an 8-year-old is left alone at a house, that's... especially a mansion as well. Right. Like stairs and then sockets and like, sharp objects. In 8-year, I mean, I guess he might be mature enough, but like if he can't pack his own suitcase,
right?
And he isn't old enough to like watch own movies, like
Right. When it comes down to it, he's only 8. I mean, 8 years old. I don't want to be left alone like that, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, at least she feels bad for him, but it's like everyone's was insulting him earlier, like,
right.
You're what the French call lazy competent.
So Kevin calls for pizza delivery, and the same kid shows up again, knocking the statue over again. He takes
poor statue.
yeah, it's all beat up. He takes the pizza around back, and Kevin uses the video that he was watching in order to get the pizza guy to leave the pizza. And then plays the video with the guy shooting to make him like haul butt.
Right. I like how it's like this guy also believes he's like, when the guy is like, well, you have to pay, sir. I'm like, this is the second time this man's come to this house and he still hasn't gotten paid.
Right.
It's like, wouldn't you be like complaining about that at this point?
Why is it always so hard to get paid at this house?
And also, if you hear gunshots, wouldn't you go back to your job, be like, hey, this guy just like shot at me?
Yes, absolutely. If somebody came back and was like, "Hey, somebody was shooting at me in my last delivery," we're gonna call the cops. Yeah. So
I realized that I was like, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things
that were left out. I think that they didn't think it. Well, they maybe did, but like
it's
also
just
a family.
That's why it's just you don't movie.
You don't realize it when you're watching,
yep.
And if you do, you kind of don't say nothing about it.
So Kevin is excited to get a cheese pizza all to himself. Yep.
I know that's also a thing in the next movie as well. That he does get another cheese pizza.
Yep.
So he obviously has a favor for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, that's what he, one cheese pizza.
One cheese pizza just for you. And like I think it was probably gonna be like a little bit of a gag, like a small one where he just wants cheese pizza.
Yeah. So Kevin is excited to get a cheese pizza all to himself, like I said, and Kate gives a bunch of money and other stuff to this couple in order to switch out their plane tickets. And they do, so she starts to her trek home. Because she's like, what, her earrings,
she's like,
a translator,
she's got a shoebox full of
$500.
And a Rolex.
And a roll. Yeah, she's like, is it real?
Oh, but who could tell?
Right. She's like, do you think it is? And she's all, no.
I like how the guy is like, she has a shoebox full of them, dangly ones. I'm like, I said all this other stuff as well. Right. Like, don't leave all this out.
Right, all just for earrings. But either way, she begs them and they switch out with her. So she's able to get going.
Like, I mean, it's pretty sad. But if it comes down to, I guess they weren't having to go anywhere important, maybe.
Right.
Because if they're going,
and they get to fly first class. I mean, they wait a day and they get to fly first class home and everything like that. I mean,
yeah.
And they get $500 and some earrings and a translator and a watch and a ring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, geez. Kevin is at home looking at a family picture, saying that he wishes that his family were back.
He regrets his decision.
Yeah. Once again, Kevin is getting ready for a shower the next morning, and he puts on aftershave, causing him to scream.
Have you not learned your lesson?
He goes to the store and gets some milk, eggs, fabric softener, as well as some other items. Orange juice he has a coupon for.
Wait, hold on, I have a coupon for that.
The cashier gives him guff about being alone, but he has all the answers about why he is alone.
He's very smart. You know, I notice how smart Kevin is for an 8-year-old. I'm like, I wouldn't even have thought of this stuff if I was like in a situation.
Like, and quick too. Like he's like,
exactly. He has this planned out, and he's like, and she's like, oh, where's your mom? In the car. Like, immediately in the car. Like, that would be a valid answer.
Yep.
What your brother said, I'm an only child. And, I caught that as well. Because when he was buying the toy and she was like, gave him this look, he's like, for the kids. And I'm like, dude, well, what kids? What kids are you talking about? And he's pretty smart, too. He's like, are you alone? She's like, no, I'm 8 years old. And do you think I'd be alone? Like, obviously he has the right answer for that.
Yeah.
Like, he's smart. He doesn't be like, oh, yeah, but my mom's in the car. Like, he has an answer for everything.
Yeah. So I like why he is walking home, his bags break on him.
Accurate.
He's just all,
He looks all sad about it too. Like, now you gotta carry all that home.
But I mean, he's doing it, man. He does laundry and even gets on over his fear of the furnace. So good on him for doing a little bit of growing up. So the thieves are back again and are confused about the house being empty or not. So Harry sends Marv to go check it out, and Kevin uses the video game to scare him off. He even used the firecrackers to make it sound more real. Like when the gun starts shooting, he puts it right there, so it's like pow, 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 pow. So he's like, Marv says he heard someone named Snakes get iced.
Right. And
that someone beat them to the job.
That's Harry. I got their names mixed up, but Marv is the short one.
Harry. No. Harry's the short one.
Harry... No, it can't be.
I promise
Is it? Are you sure?
I
always
swear.
get their names mixed up, don't I?
Harry's the little one that gets... Yep.
Okay.
And then Marv is the one
Marv is the big one. Yep. All right. Yeah. By the way, what kind of name Snakes? I mean, I guess if you're like running away from gunshots, when it's like, yeah, this guy's named Snakes got blown away, and he's just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Snakes? I don't know no snakes.
He sounded like a snake.
So they decide to wait and see who it is that is robbing the house so they can identify him, because they're like, look, man, what if there's a murder and we get picked up? We want to be able to say who it was. We don't want to get blamed for it.
Right.
Meanwhile, Kate is in America now, but cannot get home to Chicago until the next day. She goes off on the guy at the counter about not having a seat, and a guy overhears her talking and offers to help.
Because she's yelling her head off.
Yeah, she is. He says that he and his band are renting a van and would be happy to give her a lift to Chicago.
Right.
Marv and Harry are camped out, like sleeping, to watch for who comes out of the house, and they see Kevin come out to cut down a tree. They realize that they're being scammed by Kevin.
And kindergartner.
Kindergartner, yeah. They take a closer look, and Kevin sees Harry's reflection in the ornament, and he's like,
Dad, can you come help me?
Yeah, but
it's like, at this point, it's unbelievable. Like, the other day, someone got shot.
Right.
And it's like, at that point, maybe someone was listening to a movie too loud, but with the firecrackers, you're going to be like, no, it's too late for that.
So Harry realizes that he's home alone.
Right.
They decide that they will come back around 9 o'clock to rob the house. We then see Kate is in the truck with the polka band on the way home, and they are playing music trying to get her to play as well.
With the
she's like, no.
I'm good. Try it. No.
So Kevin goes to the local Santa Claus in order to put a wish to his family, for the family to come back. Yeah. The fake Santa says he will see what he can do. And Kevin is walking home and sees a family in a house and is starting to really miss his family. It's
sad because, like, also I realized that if the guy hearing that, he's like, I'll see what I can do. He means, like, because maybe he doesn't know, like, maybe Kevin's an orphan to him. So, like, that's probably what he was thinking. And also, like, he's like, I think that's the real Santa Claus. He's like, what makes you say that? And his beard's all there.
He's smoking a cigarette.
He pulls it back up. And
he gives him some Tic Tacs.
Hold your little paw there.
Yeah. I like that. You know what's also funny is this poor guy gets a ticket on his car because he's like, who gives Kris Kringle who gives
Chris Santa
Kringle
Claus on
a ticket
on Christmas?
And then he goes to pull off and his car breaks down.
No.
I was like, man, this guy has no luck.
Right.
So Kevin goes to the local church as he hears singing, and while he is sitting there, he looks over and sees the old man from next door.
So it's approaching him all creepily. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, dude,
he does.
You set, like, a really bad example for yourself.
Yeah, you're not putting off very good.
Like, his apparel makes it seem like he would look suspicious.
Yeah.
But he's like, Merry Christmas, and Kevin's like, what the freak? Yeah. What the... Oh.
Yeah, at first he's scared, but then the old man comes and talks to him. He tells him that the stuff that is said about him isn't true, and that Kevin can say hi to him when he sees him.
Right.
He asks if he's been a good boy, and Kevin's like, no.
No.
But Kevin is feeling bad about it and says that he wishes he wasn't as bad as he has been.
Because the guy said, this is where you come to feel bad about yourself. And he's like, well, why are you here? Are you here about that? And he's like, no.
No.
Well, then why are you here?
Right.
Why would you say that?
Yep.
It's sad. I feel bad because we don't see him again in the second movie, I think.
No, he's not.
And I'm like, I actually really liked his character because he was a really nice guy and he had more of a, like, secret character.
When the second movie, we have the pigeon lady.
The pigeon lady,
who's basically just like the old man.
Just like the old man. Just, you know, because there's no rumors, but, like, he just met her, too. But, like, with this guy, we don't know how long. Maybe he just moved in because, like, we see him just being scared nowadays.
Yeah. Well, the old man tells a story about why he has to be there now to listen to his granddaughter sing. He says that he and his son had a fight years ago.
Falling out, yeah.
Yeah, falling out, and that they're no longer talking. Kevin says that he needs to call his son to make up.
He's like, isn't that kind of stupid?
Yeah. They part as friends, and Kevin realizes that it's getting late and that he has to prep for the thieves coming.
I also want to note that the song that started singing, when the girl started singing, was Carol of Bells. It's like one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Oh, really?
I really like that song, and I don't know why, but I think I like choir songs when the, like, voices, you can hear, like, them, like, syncing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that song, and it kind of has, like, a creepy tone to it. Not, like, creepy, like, oh.
I get what you mean.
But I really like that song.
It's haunting.
Yeah, and then, you know, we hear the song plays again in the second movie as well, but it starts playing, like, an upbeat version.
Yep.
Of a song.
Tubular Bells.
Yeah, and it's...
That's what it's called, Tubular Bells.
It sounds like a good name, but we hear that song again, but I really like that as well.
Yeah.
But, like, Kevin's just walking around places, like, he just knows where stuff is, like, he just went to the church.
Well, the church, like, on the corner of his neighborhood,
maybe, but, like, you still gotta go find that, and then he goes back again. And I'm like, you're alone, by the way.
He's 8.
Exactly, like, you're alone and 8.
Yeah.
And it's, like, nighttime, so, like...
Right, I don't want to be out there at 14, let alone...
Especially since my house is about to be robbed.
Right.
I'm like, I guess you don't want to be there for that, but also just, like, my house, my rules. Meanwhile, I'm up here hiding my room.
I guess if I felt comfortable enough to walk to the store and to do everything else and I was that, I would have just walked to the cops.
Exactly.
And been like, hey, there's these guys that are robbing houses in my neighborhood. And I'm home alone and my parents are in France. Can you come hook them up and, take care of this? But nah, that's not what happened.
And obviously the police aren't that good either. They come to...
Right.
So, like,
go home, kid.
Right, yeah. These people are breaking into houses near my neighborhood and they're coming for me next. Go home.
So, Kevin goes to his house and makes a map of it and plans out a bunch of traps, which is pretty cool.
Right.
He does things like set out micro machines and puts water on the stairs to make them icy.
This is creative, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I would never think of this.
Yeah.
And it's like...
He does a whole bunch of stuff.
And, by the way, I'm just saying, like, when the people come home as well, like...
We'll talk about that.
Mess everywhere.
We'll talk about that.
But how do you not see this stuff as well? Like, I mean, I guess when you're outside, first of all, the ice... Maybe you're not gonna see that, but you're gonna approach the door and then see this red hot, like, and you touch it. Why do you keep holding on to it?
Yuck. So he sits about to eat one of his microwave dinners that he bought.
Right,
when the clock
before 9 goes.
Yep.
Like why would you do that right before it's about to happen?
Yeah.
Let me eat this meal before my house is about to get robbed.
He wants to be full.
Very hungry. Right.
So
the energy.
The clock strikes 9 and he knows that it's time for him that the robbers are going to show up.
Right.
So at first the bad guys come to the back door and knock.
Well, one does. Don't they just...
No, they both come.
Do they really?
Yep. Harry knocks and they're like, it's Santa Claus and his little elf. Kevin shoots Harry.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do.
And then shoots Marv in the face when he puts his head through the dog door.
Hello.
Yeah. Harry decides to go around front while Marv goes down the basement. Harry eats hard when he slips on the icy
You can see
stairs.
him slip and he's like trying to walk. Like, why'd you keep walking? Like, why don't you just like try to crawl up the stairs?
Yep.
Like, no, let's just keep stepping. I guess you have the thing to hold on.
The railing,
The railing, yeah. But like, in this situation, maybe try to like just... I would crawl.
I get what you're saying.
Because it's much more easier than trying to fall all the way back down.
Yeah. Marv also eats it on the stairs downstairs.
He actually like
He's
falls.
Like, oh,
right? He like slams it. I'm like, ow! It looks so painful.
Yeah. Harry manages to make it up the slick stairs again, but then slips when he gets to the top and goes all the way back to the bottom. Like,
what?
He flips, I think.
Yeah.
Marv gets into the basement door as it's just opened. He keeps trying to break it in.
Crowbar, and then he just opens the door.
Twists. He goes to turn on a light, and an iron falls on his face, knocking him down.
Right.
Harry makes it back up the stairs and grabs the door handle that has the heating iron on it, and it burns an M into his palm, which is gross.
Because you can still see it, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Marv is coming up the basement stairs that have tar all over them. His shoes and socks are all stuck on the tar and everything like that.
Behind. And this scene made me really cringe because you can. He goes to take a step, and then it goes. There's a nail sticking out, which I think Kevin placed himself.
Yeah, he did. He put the nail with the
slowly, and you could hear it going. It just
goes into it. Yes, I hate
that. Was so bad.
How and it just goes in slowly into his foot, into the bottom of his foot. So he falls all the way back down to the floor. Harry comes back in the back door, and a flamethrower thing burns the top of his head.
He just sits there screaming while it burns his head.
Yeah, he does.
That would have hurt.
So he runs back out and then sticks his head in the snow to cool down.
Yeah, he goes with his head.
It's all singy.
Right.
Marv decides to go back up the stairs outside and in through an open window, but since he doesn't have shoes on, he steps on ornaments that cut his feet all off.
Which is like, it's so bad as well, because he sits back up and he starts walking again, purposely on top of them. I'm like, why don't you just try to step over? Because now you're just walking on glass.
Yes.
And it's like, and you already have the nail in your foot as well, and all that tar, so it's gonna get stuck to your feet as well.
Yeah, it would be bad.
So, like, dude, you're gonna get, like, infected or something.
Harry's in the house and gets glue in his face, and then a fan causes feathers to blow all over him. So it's almost like tar and feathered.
Yeah.
Marv and Harry meet up and are confused as to why they look the way that they do. Do you know what tar and feathered is?
Yeah. Like,
did you ever hear about that in school?
Tar people and then put the feathers on them.
Yeah. Do you know why they used to do that? Because basically,
it wasn't like a humiliation thing.
It was a punishment of like death.
Oh.
Because they would tar and feather you, and the tar would actually like seize into your pores and everything like that, and you would like basically get sick and die. Like your skin would actually like not be able to breathe. It was horrible. It was a horrible way to die. So just to say, I just wanted to talk about that because
yay,
yuck.
So glad that Kevin did not have any tar.
Yeah. Well, he did, but he put it on the stairs.
Well, he did put it on the stairs. Yeah, I think he has some decency. let's say that he's like, why are you dressed like a chicken?
Yeah.
Where's all your shoes?
Yeah. He's like, why'd you take your shoes off? Why are you dressed like a chicken? Yeah, that's what when they meet up. They both go into the hallway and they slip on micro machines.
Like, weren't they cars?
Yeah, they're those things. They used to be toys that were called micro machines.
Yeah, and they both fall and land on their
Remember, because that's what at the beginning the dad says that the aunt had stepped on one and almost broke her neck or whatever.
Or broke her back.
Yep, that's what he did. So Kevin throws paint cans over the banister, nailing both of them in the face.
Which seems so painful. Like, heads up! Mark actually, he puts his head up and he's like, oh. And then gets heck in the face.
He's like, what? Bam!
Right? And then Harry turns around and there's another one coming and they both fall down the stairs, which, ow, again, would be very painful.
Horrible.
Because they fall down the stairs a couple of times. So don't you think, like, something's broken, like a rib?
You would think. But no.
You feel like invincible.
So Marv notices that Harry's gold tooth is missing. And which makes him like upset. He's like, you're missing teeth.
I'm going to kill him.
They make it up the stairs, but not before Kevin calls the police to report that the Murphy's house is being robbed. Harry trips on a trip line that Kevin put.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he called. He's like, my house being robbed.
Yeah, he's like, Hurt, this is Murphy. My house is being robbed. Help.
It's like, right? But the police fall for that.
Oh, yeah, they'll come immediately. Lights and sirens for that.
My son is home alone. We're in a different place. Tell her we count our kids. Family crisis.
So that's funny. So Harry trips on the trip line. However, Marv grabs Kevin by the leg. Kevin can't get away, so he
I got him.
Yep.
Get it back up, and he's just like standing there. I'm like, dude, wouldn't they like yank him down?
Yeah, you would think, but nah. He sees the tarantula and puts it on Marv's face, freaking him out, which would freak me out.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
Like, no, get that thing off of me right now.
Marv flips out and flings the spider onto Harry. Marv then proceeds to try and hit the spider while it's on Harry.
What are you doing?
But he just ends up hitting the heck out of Harry.
he stands up and starts beating him with the crowbar.
Yeah, he does.
How do you like it?
So Kevin uses bike handlebars and a rope to escape out to the treehouse.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Kevin threatens to call the cops, so Marv and Harry use the rope to go out to the tree house to get Kevin. I like him. He's like, he's going to call the cops. From the tree house.
From the tree house.
They're pretty high up, and Kevin cuts the rope, causing them to slam into the house. Kevin books it across the street to the Murphy's house, and the thieves give chase, but instead of following him directly as they have been, they go through the front door and catch him.
Why is the front door unlocked?
I don't know.
Maybe they had the crowbar still, but you can see them drop it as well and then go after Kevin.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't lock it when they left because they robbed the place. Remember?
Oh, yeah, true. That did happen. Oh, yeah, because you see all the water and that's the wet bandits, right?
That's the wet bandits. So they hang him on a hook on the door and start to threaten him and to do all the things that he did to them. But the old man from next door shows up
and smacks them both.
And knocks them both with a snow shovel.
Like how he knocks like Marv out, and then Harry turns around like, huh?
Yep. He takes Kevin home, and the cops show up at the Murphys and catch the wet bandits, which again, like you said, convenient that the cops will show up real hard for that. But then they don't even do an investigation. They just like take them and then they just roll out. There's like...
No, like,
there would be more investigation.
Like, who called? Oh, Murphy called?
Well, not even just that, but never mind.
I also am like, well, thanks for telling us that you're red bandits. Now we know every single house that you hit.
Yeah, they give him heck about that.
Harry's all mad and peeved off about it.
Yeah, he's kicking him in the butt.
Right.
So,
wet bandits.
Yeah, Kevin waves to Harry as they are taken away.
He's all angry about it.
Yeah, Harry looks pissed.
He's all beat up too.
Yep, he's got a black eye, it looks like. Kevin sets milk and cookies out for Santa and fixes up the decorations that he put up. Meanwhile, Kate is talking with Gus about what a bad parent she is, and Gus tells her a horrible story about how he left his kid in a funeral parlor one time.
With the body. Yeah, kids are resilient. She's like, maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah, it's just a depressing story.
Not helping like, at all.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Well, you were the one who brought it up. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did. The next morning, Kevin wakes up looking for his family, and they are not there.
He's all sad and disappointed.
Yep, he continues to look, and the door opens, and it's Kate coming home. She apologizes to Kevin, and he seems upset at first, but then he smiles and runs to her, hugging her.
They obviously have like a close relationship, those two.
Now they do.
Right.
So he asked about
Dummy.
dummy, yeah. He asked about the rest of the family, and Kate is like they wanted to come but couldn't. But then the door swings open, and it's everyone else. The dad says they caught the Friday flight home that Kate didn't want to wait for.
But like,
and made it at the exact same time.
Made, like almost like just a couple, like 1 minute or 2 minutes later.
Yep.
It's like you can't like. It would have just been better to wait, but I guess she was trying to rush him home immediately.
Right.
But, like,
having not just sat there instead.
Right.
Yeah. So the dad picks up Kevin hugging him, and everyone thinks it's pretty cool that Kevin survived. Kevin even tells them about having gone shopping, and they are all amazed.
I feel like I would be like, you left the house.
Right.
Like, they're just like, oh, good, thank you, Kevin.
Right.
You left the house unattended? Like, you're 8 years old, kid.
Right. When asked what he did, they were away, he says he just hung around.
He just, hung around. Meanwhile, be too, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna come home and see all these cars. I mean, maybe he cleaned up, but like, if with the glass pieces and like the damage to the treehouse, like that's gonna be noticed. Like, and how like there's ice everywhere. Well, I mean, not that.
The stairs in the basement are what are not going to be able to be cleaned.
No.
That's everything else.
The tar and the nail in the floorboard that you're gonna have to take that out.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to explain that. So, like, what are you gonna say? Oh, I spilled a bunch of my tar going down the stairs to clean the laundry.
That's a mess that you're gonna have to really do a lot of repair for. But I mean, I guess if you're like, well, I stopped the bandits, right?
So like, he'll probably come up with something.
P.S. Buzz's bedroom. So Kevin sees out the window that the old man's son and family came to visit him, which is cool.
Obviously, he did call, so you can tell that he called.
And the dad finds Harry's gold tooth on the floor.
Honey, what's this?
So the movie ends with Buzz yelling at Kevin,
"What did you do to my room?
What did you do to my room?" Yeah, and that's pretty much how it ends.
He's all
But yeah, I mean, I really would like to get into. We always talk about the after effect of movies, like what happens after. So they can clean up the glass. He can clean up the micro machines. He can take the string down. He can pull down the paint cans. The damage to the treehouse, whatever. But that tar, that tar that he put on the stairs, that's
with the socks and shoes on it too.
Yeah, I mean that's not coming up. You're gonna have to replace the stairs, and I just really that's the only thing that I'm like,
Like, how are you gonna explain that?
Right. You didn't just hang around. Well, these people tried to break in and I stopped them and I set a whole bunch of traps for them. Well, really? Did you really? But yeah, here's the shoe and sock to
no one's going to believe you. I mean, the best explanation is him just to give himself up like that. He would just be like, oh, I was playing some games and I wanted to do this and I did this to the stairs.
Right.
And like, with the paint buckets, I mean, come down, slam on the face. And like, definitely the gold tooth, that's another thing.
Yeah.
The traps upstairs, like, would that leave, like, any markings on the stairs at all?
No clue. And the tarantula is still out in the house. That's horrible.
Right. He's like, Kevin, what'd you do to my room? Like, he's gonna see all his stuff's gonna be messed with.
Oh, his room was thrashed.
And, like, you're gonna have, like, oh, I went shopping.
Yeah.
You went and left the house. He is a child going out at night. It's a bad situation. I'd be worried. Like, you left the house at night. Well, not at night. You left the house to go buy something from a store, by the way, mind you.
Yep.
And then go out again. Like, I don't think he said that, but he definitely went and got food.
Right.
And laundry detergent.
Right.
And I'm like, first of all, you got laundry detergent, which is like...
Well, you did laundry.
Right. And you did the laundry. Like, how do you know how to do the laundry?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So... But he
can't pack his suitcase, though.
But he can't pack his suitcase.
He can't pack his suitcase.
He can't tie his shoe.
So you're going to do all this, Kevin, but you can't pack your suitcase? Yeah. All right, sure then.
You're getting some more responsibilities in the house.
Oh, so you can do all this? All right, so how about cleaning up the backyard?
Right. What are your overall thoughts on the filming experience?
Definitely a family-friendly movie. Like, funny, watch with friends.
Just a good time.
Good time, yeah. If you're gonna look at it from a realistic point, definitely just
don't bother.
Don't bother. Yep. It's not gonna make sense. Definitely because like with the OP, with the not being able to get damaged. I mean, they're damaged, but they're obviously not affected by it. They're falling down stairs.
Yeah.
Stairs, like stone stairs, which would definitely leave you like winded at the least.
Yeah.
And like getting with your feet, you'd have a limp at least.
You
Because
have something.
there's a giant hole in your foot now. Because that's a nail.
Yeah.
Going inside your foot. That's going to be a hole in your foot. You're
Yep.
going to be bleeding. Especially since he went back up the stairs. Because he had to go back up. So,
Right.
I mean...
I don't even... Look, I'm going to tell you, I think that he would be stuck because I don't know how he got back up them icy stairs, man.
Right.
That's pretty impressive.
And, like, with the giant hand, like, that, your hand's going to be sore.
Yeah. You're not going to be grabbing
You're not
anybody
gonna
for a while.
grabbing anything. So, like, obviously, I think, realistic is out the window on this movie.
Just a
But
good
it's a fun movie to watch. I mean, I like watching it
Yeah, me
for
too.
Christmas.
Yep.
Anytime I want to.
Yep. What do you give it, Moose? 5 out of 5.
5. It's a really...
You give it 5?
I give it 5.
Nice.
And if I could, I'd give it more. It's a really good movie.
I give it 4 for being a Christmas movie. I don't. It's not a 5 for me, but it's definitely a really good. It's really up there for me.
I give it a 5 because I think it's just more. It's kind of its own movie.
No, I get it.
I don't think you've seen it. Like, I mean, there's probably movies like it, but definitely not like it.
Yeah.
There's definitely
it set
own type of movie.
It set a tone for the night. I mean, this being a '90s movie, this is one of the first really big movies of the '90s.
Right.
So it set a tone.
And I think I'm more prone to liking, 90s movies. Like I've said, I really do like 90s movies. They have a place in my heart.
That's cool.
Because they're so much better than, 2020 movies now.
Poor sad 2020s.
I mean, like,
everything just comes out of the TV now.
I think it's more just trying to find humor.
Yeah.
Everything comes off the TV now. I think it's trying to more find humor for teenagers.
Yeah.
But
and just being able to be relaxed and fun with something.
Exactly. But I like old movies because it's just like they aren't more trying to find humor, but having its own humor.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's more, and it's just like it has its own type. And it's like there's other stuff. Like this movie was so big that it even had games off of it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, not all of them were good.
It did. It had video games.
But
yeah,
it did have video games. I think even maybe merchandise. I think it had its own ad at one point.
Home Alone was huge.
It was huge.
I mean the references that have been made to it in other movies, like in Dogma, just to come off of one where they. I mean, she references the Scream.
It left its mark, didn't
Robin Hood Men in Tights. The kid says, "Well, I have to run home alone now," and then he screams when he gets there, and when he leaves, he sits there and he goes, "Ah!" and screams up the street. So
it left a mark.
It did.
I think it left a mark.
It definitely did.
And that's the thing. That's why I think they try to make more movies off of it as well.
Yeah,
like anything with Home Alone on it,
you're gonna
try to be like, oh, money, people gotta come watch this and be gullible. And it's sad because I would have liked to see a 3, but I think the whole point was just to have the criminals be in jail.
Yeah.
Like, they escaped, and then Kevin goes again, and then they go and get him, and it's like...
Yeah, I don't think part
3 would have made anything different. Like, what are they gonna do,
I honestly don't think past part 2 should have been made. I like part 2, too.
Right.
It's fun. It's just a fun, silly movie, and I enjoy that. I can just watch a fun, silly movie and not try and take itself too seriously, so...
And it's like, are the parents rich? You can always...
Oh my gosh.
They're rich.
They're sick rich.
So, like... You can obviously tell that maybe Kevin was a bit spoiled.
A bit.
If
you can call your mom dummy and not catch a backhand, you're spoiled.
Yeah, you're spoiled. Mm-hmm. And maybe, I feel like if they have automatic lights and all of this stuff, you can't afford, like, an alarm system for when someone opens the door. Like, come on.
That's a good point.
And all these Christmas lights all over your house, lady. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And I want to say that they're kind of bad parents in my place.
They are bad parents.
I mean, like, you're rushing out of the house, and I get, like, but you have one singular kid.
Your youngest, too.
Exactly. But, like, if you're having one kid do a head count.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, 1, 2, and one kid's like, 1574. I'm like, no, I'm going to do the head count.
Yeah.
I'm doing the head count.
That's fair. All right. You got anything else? Are you ready for some trivia?
No, I don't.
All right. So, Joe Pesci, Harry, was deliberately rude and avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Culkin to think he was mean.
Really?
So he wanted him to think that he was that way, so he acted that way. Isn't that fun?
Really?
The picture that Kevin finds of Buzz's girlfriend was a picture of a boy made up to look like a girl because director Chris Columbus thought it would be cruel to make fun of a girl like that.
Aw.
Yep.
That's nice.
So the boy was used in the photo was the director Dan Webster's son. He was the art director. And it was his son. So yeah, so in order to, so that way, some girl isn't being considered wolf.
Yeah.
They made it a boy.
Right.
So, Catherine O'Hara, who plays Kate, his mom, revealed in 2014 that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom.
Oh.
Yep. Macaulay Culkin drew the map that his character used to set up the traps. Like, he actually drew it, which is cool. The ornaments on which Marv steps were actually candy.
Oh.
So it's like, not really glass, it's just candy.
Sugar glass, is it?
Yeah. And Macaulay Culkin's stunt double was a very short 30-year-old man.
Well, that would make sense.
So, do you have anything else? Are you pretty much good for it?
I mean, apart from part 2, no.
All right. So we'll have to do part 2, so that way we can have a sequel. And we don't usually do sequels on the show, but you know what? I think on this one we'll make
an exception.
An exception, definitely. So, all right, we're going to wrap this one up tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by and listening to our 7th episode. We do deeply, deeply appreciate it, more than you can imagine. We'll say a shout out to Greg Revan for our intro and outro music. And as always, say goodnight, Miss Tabby.
Good night, Miss Tabby.
Good night, folks. Merry Christmas.
Have a good one.